Well, it looks like Half-Life and Max Payne weren't only just friends. But is the result Boneworks? Stay tuned to find out. But before we get started, remember to watch until the end of the video to find out who won the previous giveaway and which games are left. Plus, there's one more surprise that I think you guys might love. Now let's get straight into the review of Boneworks Stress Level Zero. The fun just got real. Boneworks has been developed by the great team at Stress Level Zero, who also created the ominous Duck season. You play as a guy called Ford working for a massive corporation known as Monaghan Industries, who are developing an artificial intelligence operating system called Myth OS. When everything goes wrong. Kinda sounds a little like Facebook. And you get called in to fix the IT issues.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
However, the game's main selling point is not the story but the physics, as it is like none ever seen before. To be honest, if you thought games like Blade and Sorcery or Stormland had good physics, then your mind will be blown with this game. But is the game any good? Well, let's find out. So, graphics are up first. Graphically, the game looks so real that it's unreal. From the outset, that is. This changes a little when you get into the details on some of the items in game. But let's start off from the great. From the crates to the metal structures around the levels, everything is detailed and looks fantastic. The walls and the concrete slabs look actually real, and not VR real, but real life. That being said, however, the smaller things such as computers and chairs don't seem to have the same level of quality. They're not bad by any means at all, it's just a little different and doesn't have the same finesse as everything else. Another example is, if you pick up a computer and smash it on someone's head, yes, you can do that, it just breaks apart like a wooden crate. It seems to be on random objects where the quality dips a little. To be honest, it's not really a big deal at all, but it becomes noticeable due to the high level quality everywhere else. I might be judging the game to a higher standard due to some areas hitting that mark. The enemies are also in a similar field. Some enemies, like the null bodies, don't appear that impressive visually at all, and actually look a bit strange, if you're looking for realism that is. To be honest, they look like incomplete character models from a game design perspective. I understand what the developer were going for, but I really don't like the look of them. However, on the other hand, creatures like the corruptions, which look like crash test dummies on drugs, are so highly detailed it's incredible. So much so that they are frightening when they're coming towards you. Although I think this might have been an intentional step to show an evolution of the enemies, but I personally can't forgive this as they are the first and most common enemies you will come across. Another thing is, all of the enemies look the same as their type, with exactly the same faces and mannerisms. Although there are a number of different enemy types that you will encounter throughout the game. Some of the cool ones are the spider robots trying to molest your face and trap you in a virtual reality, which is a little on the nose but still makes you smile. One of the main things that I really missed in the game was decapitation. I really wish that was there. You should know by now how much I love decapitation. Yes, I know I need help. Plus, for me, it's not as satisfying to just kill robots or these creatures. I miss the human elements like you get with Blade and Sorcery. I do want to mention the lighting in the game, which is so good that I literally was thinking, wow, I did not expect a metal object to reflect light based on the position of the light source and how I was holding the object. Simply because other VR games don't have this feature. You just think, wow. However, that being said, there are a few bugs that you may encounter with stuff randomly floating in midair and awkward positions of your body or arms. But there is nothing game breaking and will probably get ironed out with patches. Overall, the graphics are really impressive and something other games need to strive for. Just wish they tried something different with the most common enemy in the game. Moving on to the sound. I originally thought the team at Stress Level Zero did a really good job with the sound of weapons. However, I quickly realized that pistols have a much better sound than the rest of the guns. When I first heard the bullets fire and then the shells fall to the ground, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Too bad this is not the same for the rest of the guns. Don't get me wrong, they're okay, but nowhere near the quality of something like H3 VR. Moving on to the rest of the game, where it is really impressive when you pick up and drop metal objects. The clink clank you expect to hear in real life is exactly what you hear in the game. Breaking boxes, jumping, falling, all of it is fantastic and very well thought out. The music in the game is generally said to be calming and relaxing. I think it's something that might grow on you a little, but not something that really stands out. There isn't really much to say more about this. Other than it's okay, nothing spectacular or memorable. The voice acting in the game is strange though. It seems a lot like someone is making YouTube videos giving instructions, but that might be due to the presentation. I don't think this is a bad thing, just something quite different I found. Also fits the vibe of the game. It's strange. So let's move on to the most important aspect and why everyone is here, the gameplay. Is it any good? So I'm going to have to break this down into parts since there are a lot of elements in the game and things that are amazing and other things that aren't so much. Firstly, let's get this out of the way. The physics system in the game is revolutionary and ahead of its time. I honestly don't know how they have even done this. Everything you see has realistic physics. Honestly, anything you can think of to do in real life you can do in the game. From slipping a weapon in the handle of a bin to hooking a crowbar to stop your fall, the physics aspect of the game gets an A++. Now let's move on to one of the fundamental gameplay elements, which are the puzzles. All of the puzzles are physics based, meaning you have to actually move things with your hand, use gravity to your advantage and much more. Now, this is a cool concept and an awesome idea, however, there are two major problems that I've noticed. Firstly, when you're trying to solve some of the puzzles, you don't get any indication of what you're supposed to be doing. This honestly really frustrated me, spending hours trying to figure something out that was as simple as pull this orange bar to the right. You just think, really? There is just too much of this, where you're just trying to figure out what in the blue hell you're supposed to be actually doing, wasting hours of game time, and this is in VR, so there is an added element of fatigue. Plus, due to the movement, I think the game induces motion sickness. I'm not sure if it's because your body gets pushed back when you're stuck on something, which isn't a great feeling. It does take a while to get used to the movement and physics, so it isn't something that someone new to VR will easily be able to get into. The second biggest issue is inherent in the nature of this type of puzzle-orientated gameplay. Since all of the puzzles are based on realistic physics without any sort of assist and you are in VR, things can get a bit finicky. What I mean by this is, if you need to jump and catch yourself on a platform, you will easily do the same thing over and over and over again until it works, or you may be just getting stuck between two pipes. The climbing feels a bit off as well, and will frustrate you a lot of the times. I think it would have been better if it was similar to climbing in Stormland or even Spy 1 with some assistance. That being said, when things do work out for you, the feeling you get is something no other game can give you. Since it was you who solved the puzzle not only with your mind but also your physical body. Moving on to the combat. Firstly, there are two modes that you can select from, a story mode and a sandbox mode. The sandbox mode is a little bit like Blade and Sorcery where you spawn the enemies however many you want and have access to all the weapons, even some that aren't in the story. You're able to have fun to your heart's content, after you have progressed enough in the story to avoid spoilers though. I'm really glad they included this mode, as sometimes you just want to get in, climb some pipes and just start killing some more foes. You can even pick up enemies and give them the rock bottom! This is the first VR game I have ever played where I can do it so flawlessly. You can even pimp slap someone in VR. Now, to be honest, there isn't as much combat in the story as I would have liked. Majority of the time, you're just collecting things and are trying to figure out what the hell you're supposed to be doing. The ammo is your currency, which is a strange concept, so you will have to use ammo to buy weapons. But this does mean you will be exploring a lot, breaking every box to see what you can find. However, collecting ammo is a little disappointing to be honest, and doesn't really match the rest of the realistic gameplay, as it just sparkles away when you pick it up. It would be fine as other traditional games have had this concept, but it just looks a little out of place considering everything else is realistic. Another thing I want to mention is that weapons and objects actually feel like they have some real weight, and if you can convince yourself, or at least pretend, that this object is heavy and make the movements you would make when picking up a really heavy object, the game does the rest. To be honest, this was scarily good. You sometimes think, oh crap, that felt real. Now coming back to the combat, you will encounter some intense fights at times, where you'll be ducking for cover, trying to use boxes to shield you from incoming fire, and then panicking when the box saving your life gets destroyed. All of this is a lot of fun. But again, this doesn't last long, and doesn't happen as much as it could have. However, one major negative point I think in the game is that enemies are just mindless drones. Especially the null bodies. They're just a dumb version of zombies from Arizona Sunshine, if that, and that's saying something. It really takes the fun out of killing them. The game is not challenging majority of the time when it comes to combat. The AI really needs to be more intelligent, take cover and actually feel like they're trying to survive as well. So I'm just a little disappointed with this. I'm hoping they can maybe add actual AI to the enemies rather than just being mindless zombies. But right now, it really takes the fun out of it once you've got past the phase of abusing helpless creatures. However, one of the most fun things in the game is the slow time feature, which feels like you're in max pain in VR. The sound of the guns firing, shells falling to the ground in slow motion just feels so epic. You can have so much fun with this, it's unreal. You also have the force pull, so you can telegraph weapons without actually having to bend down and pick them up each time. I do want to mention the story just a little bit, without spoiling anything. It's around 7 hours, but potentially a little longer, or a crap ton longer if you get lost for hours during puzzles, which you probably will. But if you did everything at a reasonable pace, you probably will be doing around 7 hours of story content, which is quite decent. However, the tutorial really does take the mick, considering how long it is. It took me almost an hour. At this point, you're thinking, are you sure this isn't a tech demo? The game is marketed to more experienced players, so why is there such a long tutorial? It doesn't make sense. Not only that, the game only saves once you finish the level. That is absolute bullcrap. In a game that can take you hours to complete one level due to the puzzles, you have to finish the whole level or redo it all. For me, that is unforgivable. However, the story itself, without spoiling anything, is a little weird and makes you think, what the hell is going on? There are underlying tones everywhere and things you need to pay attention to, as not everything is what it seems. The story is actually a lot deeper than you would think. You start getting feelings of emotions even for some of the enemies, as there is a hierarchy system with the AI beings. There's also a full lore of the game for people that are interested in that stuff. Overall, I think it's a decent story that will keep you intrigued and keep you wanting to find out what is actually going on. Just want to mention one more point, that you may have seen majority of the videos on the Valve Index, so I just want to tell you that it works amazingly well with the Rift S and even the Oculus Quest through the Oculus Link. Since majority of the game was tested on touch controllers when in development, it works as good as it can. So, overall, what do I think of the game? Well, Boneworks has been developed by true VR fans and you can tell it has gone through 3 years of development. It really feels like a game that was going to become a Half-Life game but then got stopped. You can take the name but not the soul. So do I think Boneworks is just a tech demo for Half-Life? Well, no, it's not. But then yes, it is.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but.
Let me come back to this question. A better question is the game fun? Hell yes. You will be giddy throughout your time playing Boneworks because of the amount of things you are able to do and how much fun it actually is. The story is intriguing, the graphics are impressive, the gameplay itself is a lot of fun. The main reason this feels like a bit of a tech demo is because of the enemy AI. It's just lacking. The gunplay is okay, not fantastic, but still a lot of fun, especially because of the slow time feature. There is so much replayability because of the sandbox levels, so I'm going to stick with no, it's not a tech demo at all, but yes, it can be improved. So, is the game actually worth a buy? Okay, I have to be honest with you. This game is $30 or £24 for the regular version, or $40 and £31 for the deluxe edition, where you get the soundtrack. And at this price, the game is a no-brainer to buy. I know I was a little bit critical in the review, but that's because of the expectations we all had with it. However, if you compare it to the rest of the games around this price, it's an absolute steal. I can't believe they're only charging $30 for this. So my final thoughts are, there will be a mixed bag of people that will either love the game or hate it. It will depend on what you want. If you want an action-packed, fast-paced shooter, then this isn't it. However, if you want to experience physics like no other game is able to provide at this level, complex puzzles sprinkled with combat, and just want to have fun, then you will love this game. Personally, I think you should buy this game after you have played other VR games, so you can appreciate what it actually gives. So my recommendation is that it's definitely worth a buy. Well, that's all folks. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up. But before we forget, let's announce the first winner of the giveaway from my previous video. Drumroll please. Solid Salad! Congratulations! To get your copy of Superhot VR, please contact me through the About page on my channel or join my Discord in the description below so I can send you the code. Remember guys, the giveaway is still on for the other 9 games. So like the video, subscribe to the channel and put in the comments which one of these games you want and why. Again, this is just a small channel, so chances of you winning are over 9,000. One more thing I want to mention. Since all of my subscribers have been so fantastic and supportive, I will also be giving a copy of Aspire 1 to a subscriber who has left a like and comment on all of my videos since the giveaway started until the end of the giveaway, but still didn't manage to win. For your loyalty and patience, this will be my super special Whackmas present for you. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Well, thanks for watching, have a great day, see you next time.